To this now, the Eastern Cape High Court sitting in Makhanda has ordered police to provide escorts to Intercape buses as well as visible law enforcement at bus depots in certain parts of the province's towns. The order forms a part of an ongoing bid by long-distance coach company Intercape to force national and provincial authorities to provide safe passage for its buses. This as violent attacks and acts of intimidation have been experienced by some of the drivers. For more on this now, we're joined by Intercape CEO Johann Ferreira, who joins us live now. Thank you so much for your time. You must be pleased with the ruling.
Yeah, we are very pleased and satisfied at this point in time, but it's not the end. It is an ongoing process, as you say.
And the court saying that the Transport Minister and the Eastern Cape Transport MEC, as well as the South African Police Service, must develop a comprehensive plan to provide for the safety and security of bus drivers and passengers in the Eastern Cape. And of course, as you say, this is a matter that could still be appealed. But let's say you do win on this particular part. What does this comprehensive plan for Intercape entail?
Well, it means that in November last year, Intercape proposed a comprehensive plan, a safety plan for the safe passage of the coaches in the Eastern Cape. And this plan was ignored and taken off the table by the National Minister of Transport, as well as the MEC of Transport in the Eastern Cape. These departments then tabled a very vague, watered-down version of a safety plan, which was then accepted by the court. At the time, we did not agree with the plan, but nevertheless, we were not in a position to enforce another plan. So reluctantly, we agreed to it. Now we have the evidence of what we envisaged and foretold at the time, and this is what is now being presented back to the court. And the judge has looked at the evidence and has sent away the parties to go and re-look the key intervention areas and come up with a reason why the Intercape plan cannot be accepted as a proposed safety plan going forward. And the judge was very specific when he said that if the excuse would be, we don't have resources on the part of the police, then they need to come and explain to him what they mean by that. What do they do with the current resources? And so we're going to be back in court on, I think, on the 14th of next month.
Johann, I'm going to get to what the police have said to us in just a moment. But for someone who's watching and hasn't been following the story as we have been, looking at, some of your drivers have even come under attack, some shots being fired. Take us back to, who do you think could be behind this? What do you think is at play here when it comes to what we are seeing?
Well, it's not a matter of who do I think is behind it. I know for a fact that it's the taxi associations and taxi owners. So that box we can tick. The reason is very simple. They want to run the industry, right? They want to effectively run by arm's length, by the barrel of the gun. They want to run these intercity operators. So they want to dictate prices, timetables, how many coaches, where can we park, when can we park, office hours, and even intimidate the agents to an extent that they're not selling Intercape tickets anymore because they are being told if you sell a bus ticket, we will burn down your store, a ShopRite Checkers store, for instance. So it is quite serious, and it is a very volatile situation. It's been ongoing for a long period of time, and no arrest has been made. So to that extent, we will see Beckett Chele soon in court because we've already summoned him and his department together with the Hawks in the NPA to come and explain themselves. Why are arrests not being made?
Especially because since 2020, opening more than 160 criminal cases, and one wonders what has happened to that. Is that how they identify themselves, though, Johann, when they approach your drivers, that they're probably coming from the associations, as you say?
Oh, well, you can clearly see they come with the taxis. And these are taxi owners. We can trace back the license plate to taxi associations, to taxi owners. So it is not somebody, a civilian coming there. It is 5, 6, 7 taxi owners coming to block the parking area. And then the coach can't offload, the coach can't load passengers. And so we know we have enough evidence, and this evidence has been presented to the police in various forms, affidavits and so on. So there's no doubt who is behind all of this.
And Johann, I want to read to you what the police say, and I'm keen to hear your thoughts on what they say, because we're trying to get a response from them. They say the interim order is noted and the SAPS is consulting on further steps. The SAPS has a duty to serve and protect everyone living in South Africa and will continue to heighten police visibility to prevent and combat any forms of criminality throughout the country. We're also studying the judgment and consulting on further steps. How do you respond?
Well, I think they must comply with the court order, and the court order is very specific. You know, we are not here to answer in vague terms. We are here to answer in specific terms, and I can read the court order that speaks to the police, and it says, a visible police enforcement presence is maintained at every loading point in the hotspot areas, at each and every time of the applicants, in this case is Intercape buses, are scheduled to stop at those loading points in order to maintain the safety and security of long-distance bus drivers and passengers. So it is very specific. It is not the public of South Africa and, you know, we will do our best. They have to comply to a court order. It goes further, and it says law enforcement escorts are provided to the applicants' buses, Intercape buses in this instance, along these hotspot routes and any other routes as and when requested by the applicant, by Intercape, on account of legitimate concerns over the risk of intimidation or violence. So, and it goes further, it says, as when necessary, procure the assistance of other law enforcement agencies in order to ensure compliance with paragraph 5. So it is specific. The time for the police to, you know, speak on vague terms that's gone. This court order was issued last week Thursday, and they have to comply with it 100%. If they don't comply, they're in contempt of court. And if they're in contempt of court, then, you know, we will take this forward. We will take this further.
All right, Johann, let's see then how this one continues to unfold. But thank you so much for your time this afternoon. That was the Intercape CEO, Johann Ferreira. And let's, of course, listen to what police have to say. We reach out to Brigadier Athlenda Mate, who is the spokesperson for the SAPS.
Tactical teams have been put together both in the Eastern Cape and the Western Cape, where these buses are traveling to patrol the routes and ensure high police visibility. In the Eastern Cape, in the hotspot areas such as the Chris Hani and the Umatole district, we have put extra deployments to patrol the highways. We have the trilateral operations in the Northern Cape, Western Cape, and the Eastern Cape, where our police officers are working together to conduct the roadblocks, the stop and searches, and basically to heighten police visibility. We are open to future engagement to ensure the safety and security of commuters and Intercape buses. And we will continue with our high-density operations throughout all provinces to ensure the safety and security of everyone in this country.
That was Brigadier Athlenda Mate, the spokesperson of the SAPS. Of course, a lot of concern around this particular story. 160 criminal cases open. So let's see then what happens with this one.